Okay, so we are on week 24, prayers and meditations by the Mother. And today we have one prayer with us, March 21, 1940. So, would anyone like to read it aloud for all of us?
Should I go ahead?
Yes, please.
March 21st, 1914. Every morning, my aspiration rises ardently to thee, and in the silence of my satisfied, I ask that thy law of love may be expressed, that thy will may manifest, and in anticipation, I adhere with joy and serenity to those circumstances which will express this law and this will. Oh, why be restless and want that for oneself things should turn out in one way and not another? Why decide that a particular set of circumstances will be the expression of the best possibilities and then launch into a bitter struggle so that these possibilities may be realized? Why not use all one's energy solely to will in the calm of inner confidence that thy will may triumph everywhere and always over all difficulties, all darkness, all egoism? How the horizon widens as soon as one learns to take this attitude, how all anxiety vanishes, giving place to a constant illumination to the omnipotence of disinterestedness. To will what thou willest, O Lord, is to live constantly in communion with thee, to be delivered from all contingencies, to escape all narrowness, to fill one's lungs with pure and wholesome air, to get rid of all useless weariness, be relieved of all cumbrous loads, so as to run briskly towards the only goal worth attaining, the triumph of thy divine law. O Lord, with what joy and trust I greet thee this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, would anyone like to share anything, any few lines that resonated more, or anything that comes to you while we go through this?
Um, in terms of things that, I mean, the whole prayer, I don't think there would be anybody like, let me not say that. So I'm saying that I can think of so many instances, in which one feels that, one has that image, that want, that, okay, this was just great. I did this, so why didn't this happen? So just that the light on that need or desire to conform to certain images that I have picked up. And just very recently, something happened in which something was presented to me, but I was just trying to be clever and I lost that opportunity. So if I'm thinking about it right now, like there's some kind of, I mean, cringing inside that, oh, why did I have to be clever? But because I knew that I think that if I wasn't, things would have just fallen into place. But then again, that shows that I feel that one place is better than the other, right? So this, first of all, I really like this satisfied heart. That how again and again I see that I feel that waha milega, or that situation is better than that one or this one, or so maybe it's maybe time to stop. So satisfied heart and this love may be expressed that I love, if I have to pray, if I want to want something, that this seems like something that I can constantly remind myself to want, that may thy love be expressed, thy will may manifest. Because even if I made a maybe blunder, and yet I can see the way the blunder works. So that too could be his will, that I become, more less clever, less clever, and to realize that. And this, how I adhere with joy and serenity. Joy doesn't have an opposite, right? Happiness has an opposite. So joy and serenity to those circumstances which will express this law and this will, this love and his will, not mine. How again it's said that may thy will be expressed and not mine, and how that not mine always has a bit of one has issues sometimes in saying that, but to say that with full joy and serenity, with the kind of a laughter in the heart that, oh, I was there again, I was there again. Yes, so this sentence, I think the next one, oh, why be restless, is what I was referring to. That even after offering, and because knowing that it's a process, that how the restlessness or a little bit of desire or want or just this appears to be better than that keeps coming in and kind of poking me. And yeah, so why be restless and want that for oneself? Things should turn out in one way and not another. This was, I think, the main thing that when I read it, it stuck that always there is slight preference. And once I know we had, talked about ill will also. That there too, I felt this, how there's this opinion which is maybe I don't blatantly say things, and yet the inner games are going on, the inner aversions, likings, opinions, a bit of judgment that yes, everybody is right. But maybe, I'm a little righter. So that is something really, I think, important to keep recognizing and offering. And then how do I decide? Why do I decide that a particular set of circumstances will be the expression of the best possibilities? And then I just devote, so much time and energy into this. Like again, just talking about myself, and I've seen time and again that firstly, I don't know. I mean, all I seem to know is just such a short picture. Just I see things through such a short window. And yet, when I look at the next thing, I say I know. I say I know. Like, how do I know? And also, every time things haven't happened the way I wanted them, there's been so much challenge and learning and growth. So why do I just still go back to that slippery slope of I know for myself? Again, I need to question and break this pattern of just following the dictates of I know and just going towards it. I mean, going towards it, I think, is not maybe not even an issue, maybe. But this restlessness or, this agitation that one feels that, oh, this didn't happen, that's bad, I must have it. So just talking about losing one's center for the small things which matter not much. Should I just stop? I think I'm just going on and on. So this
No,
was, I
no,
think, the
please,
main.
please go ahead.
Okay. So if I have to, again, I think all mothers' prayers and meditations, they point towards the next sentence that if one has to want, why not want the highest? And why am I blind and to not be able to see that even now? So why not use all one's energy solely to will in the calm of inner confidence that thy law may triumph everywhere and all difficulties, all darkness, all egoism. Something about me failing, me not getting, me making the wrong decision. Even on the path, I keep getting, I don't know, punched by that me. Not punched, but maybe engulfed. Maybe not fully, that is not blatant. So I could see that, okay, it's just maybe some inner calling or inner voice, but a lot of what I still seek would have darkness, would have egoism. So again, seeing it and offering is such a grace to be able to even see is, I think, what I would want to say. And while I'm doing it, if I can keep offering it for right now, that seems like okay, if that's what I can do. So how the horizon widens as soon as one learns to take this attitude, because in all my meanness, I'm boxing myself. Okay, the best situation is this, or was this, or could have been that, if that person would have acted different, if that circumstance would have been different. But once, if I see that, okay, his will, oh, okay, my stupidity, okay, I know now next time better. So hopefully I will not be doing that. And as soon as, I drop the I, the how it says the horizon widens. How I am unlimited. Everything tells me that. And yet, how I just want to define, box, limit is is surprising. That why do I need to be small when I can really be big and wide and open and anything. Okay, that big house, went, okay, small house, great. Just with that, I don't know how it says, that head is bored. If my head is bored, that thing would not come. But yeah, I keep raising my head, I think is what I feel. And that's why I keep making my own boundaries. So how all anxiety vanishes, giving place to a constant illumination to the omnipotent of disinterestedness. How that interest develops, like when we closely look at our movements, when I closely look at my movements, how that preference sneaks in, how something that I would not even think of slowly becomes a desire, not even saying I'm a desire, kind of like how this game happens. It's interesting, and yet it needs to be offered again and again, and questioning that, I don't know, that greed that comes or that want that comes, and Why can't I be, I don't know why everything cannot be equanimous that you got, you didn't get. It's again very, I know I'm just repeating myself, but this interestedness, this enchantment that, Monica, you quote JTP often, seems like, again, seems like the base on which a lot can be built. Because I keep, I don't know, losing, it seemingly losing the path and my center. So to will what thou willest, O Lord, is to live constantly in communion with thee. So that's for sure that anytime I lose track, I lose my communion, I leave, mother's hand and I stray, I think is the word I was looking for, to be delivered from all contingencies, to escape all narrowness. And again, in the life divine, it became more and more apparent at how I can be boundaryless and how I always choose to be narrow, to be narrow, to say sentences like we were discussing the other day that after all, I'm just a human being. Oh, this is natural. All these sentences, I'm not realizing how I am being, my own kind of enemy. I'm being my own boundaries and my walls. To fill one's lungs with pure and wholesome air. I mean, just this visual, even it's so fulfilling, so relaxing, right? To fill one's lungs, what I'm breathing all the time, 24/7. So when it's lungs, it cannot have exception. I breathe with pure and wholesome air to get rid of all useless weariness. Because I keep getting weary, I keep, falling towards restlessness again and again. To get rid of all useless weariness, be relieved of all cumbrous loads that I don't need to carry. Here, even, Thich Nhat Hanh's that meditation in which he says, smile, release all the loads that you're carrying, so many things that they don't have any place in your life now, but I keep holding it. So to get rid of all the useless, so as to run, not walk, to run briskly towards the only goal worth attaining, the triumph of thy divine law. O Lord, with what joy and trust. Just look at our arrogance that even to trust the divine, we have to keep offering and, ourselves that allow me to trust you fully. It's just, I don't know, it's both funny and painful. Oh Lord, with what joy and trust I greet thee this morning. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, would anyone else like to also share anything? Anything that may have come to you while Taru was sharing? Anyone? Okay, so I'm assuming there's nothing. If there is, please unmute and do share if anything arises. So I think Taru already shared each line with a lot of practical details, but maybe I'll go over again and see if there is something else that arises also. Every morning my aspiration rises ardently to thee, and in the silence of my satisfied heart, I ask that thy law of love may be expressed and thy will may manifest. Do we do that? That's my question to myself and all of us. That the first thing in the morning, or not only in the morning, throughout the day, can we do that? Do we want to make a day like that? That the first thing that we ask or aspire in the morning is that may thy will manifest through this day. And if we make it a practice, since we are usually habituated to live in thoughts and the restless and agitation of the thoughts, if we make this new life a practice, as Mother says, that if we make inner reality more concrete and real than what all we have real, for example, the people in my life, the appearances, the gadgets, the things I may get or I may not get, the money, the power, the fame. So all that comes through the senses, giving that a secondary importance, and given the inner communion with our divine presence most concrete importance. Is that a possibility for me? I'm asking. That how long will I again and again keep slipping, knowing that what is most important I again and again ignore. Now we know that we ignore because we forget, and the old habits of worrying and being restless in our thoughts and giving other things more important, they come back with renewed vigor. And even if they come back, as Mother says, that is for a reason. It is just for me to show that I still give this more importance than to the mother. So nothing is by accident, Mother says, and Mother says that even for physical accidents, she shares that physical accidents happen so that to make me more conscious. So can I have this attitude, the attitude which I think Taru is also pointing at, that even if a so-called failure has happened, I have lost some opportunity, can I have this attitude that all these secondary, uh, all these outer happenings become absolutely secondary. So whether I lose a position, whether I lose a job, get a job, the only thing that matters is my communion with the mother. Can I make that so concrete? Because if I don't make that concrete, then we can't experience this silence of my satisfied heart, which Mother shares in the second line. We can only have a satisfied heart, and we have, all of us have glimpses of those days or moments where it was a total surrender in that particular moment, and you are just very content to be with the mother. You don't want anything else to happen or not happen. You are okay with all the outer happenings, no preferences whatsoever. Why? Because you have the biggest treasure with you, which is the mother. What more do I want? The biggest has been given to me. But because we are absorbed in thoughts and we doubt, we question, but do I have the mother? Maybe I don't have the mother. Maybe I'm imagining. So all these doubts and confusions keep on boggling our mind. So we place the mother as secondary, because mother is not, we can't, tangibly touch the mother, that here, mother is in front of me. I have the mother. While the property or the gadget or the position or the money, the notes that come green, that I can touch. So they are more real. How can I say they are not there? And then we see the practicality of it, that, how much practical relevance these notes have in the market. So it requires a lot of, I believe, lifetimes of sadhana to ultimately to be able to give importance to what really matters, our communion with the divine presence. And only then can I have a satisfied heart, irrespective of the outer failures. that doesn't matter, I have the mother. Isn't that amazing? You know, I may have lost a position, I may have lost an exam, I may have failed in an exam, I may have lost a relationship, yet I have the mother. How amazing! And this is called unconditional love of the Divine Mother, that she doesn't bothers about these outward happening. We are the child of the mother, and we forever remain the child of the mother. Just like even biological parents, if we have true connection, a good relationship with our parent, there we see this unconditional acceptance, that whether the child fails or not fails in the outward exams, whether the child has have taken a bath, not taken a bath, he's still a loving child for the mother. So that brings a lot of satisfaction, that wow, I have failed this exam. People may say that what a big thing, but look at my mother, she's so loving. So how do I care? So that kind of abandonment to the mother, or a relationship with the mother, if we can have, I think that really brings a lot of satisfaction in the heart. We may have a friend who may be, in right now in a bad mood at whatever conversation happens between us as friends. Even then, we have a great satisfaction in the heart, that it doesn't matter. Mother will make things correct, and uh, he will also be fine, she will also be fine, and I am also fine. It doesn't matter much. So I think this something which has to be cultivated. It rarely comes naturally to people. And if it comes naturally, it must be a cultivation of the previous lives. Why? Because we start our journey from darkness, from mechanical patterns, unconscious habits. So the habits rule, and it takes time for us to recognize the divine presence and to give it most importance. It takes time, it takes cultivation. That now at each moment of time in my day, this is what is okay. My cup of tea spilled, how does it matter? I have the mother, I'll clean it. Doesn't matter. The guy, messed up the whole house. Children messed up the whole house. How does it matter? Okay, we will take our time, clean up. No big deal. So in front of this inner concreteness that we experience, everything else becomes, what's the big deal? Everything else becomes secondary. Their true unshakable faith gets cultivated. So in the silence of my satisfied heart, this is a satisfied heart which now knows who to give priority to, which has done the proper bargain, the right bargain. We keep on doing very, menial and trivial transactions in our day-to-day life, and we give away this peace for something very trivial and glittery. And in the beginning, it appears very precious, but it's glittery. It promises me some fulfillment. So in that promise of fulfillment, I give away the communion with the mother very easily, very easily. I run to that glitter. While towards the end, what mother says, it's actually we have to run towards the only goal worth attaining. We don't have to keep on running for centuries and ages about after these glittery people and things and situations. So I think it's high time for each one of us who can resonate with this, that now I will have to, because in eternity there is enough time, yes, but human life has limited time duration, no? Few years, and we don't even know whether I'll be living till 80, 90. Who knows? Tha and gone. Age was only 20, age was only 40. Work still remains unfinished. Again, take another birth, still complete the work. So when I know what is the work, why not do it right away? Why not remind myself, paste my whole wall in the room with reminders, because I don't want to forget now. In the phone, put reminders, wherever, in the computer, put reminders, in the kitchen, put reminders, because we don't want to delay this now and give things importance which which are usually socially considered important, and they leave us with nothing. They leave us empty handed. The soul is still dissatisfied, and the soul can only be satisfied when it realizes itself with this divine communion. So that's how, just reflecting upon this silence of my satisfied heart. So a heart which knows who to give importance to, what to give importance to, then only this satisfaction can be there, this silence and calm can be there. That no big deal, no outward happening is a big deal. I ask that thy law of love may be expressed. And when we have even a short moment of true communion, the byproduct is love. The byproduct is gratitude. It goes hand in hand. Just like the byproduct of having a flower is its fragrance. So the byproduct of that communion, the more stabilize we do, because it's a practice, that's why I'm saying do. The more I stabilize this inner presence, identifying with this inner presence, the more love gets expressed. One becomes unconditionally and also disinterestedly loving, because you can't help it. What you have to do, what can you give? If you are water, what can you give? You can give coolness. If you are fire, you can give warmth, hot. And if you are wind, you can give this, whatever, the touch that comes with the wind. And if you even have a touch with the divine, it gives you love. Love which comes unasked. You didn't ask for it, but it just comes in life. So thy law of love, and the divine love has power of transmutation, transfiguration. Thy law of love may be expressed, that thy will may manifest. So as Taru was sharing, that we don't know, I don't know, I may be having a very strong opinion about something today, but yet in the depth of my heart, I know that this opinion is nothing in front of the larger picture. So it's very easy to be unsure of that opinion, but I don't know. Yes, I am feeling this. Yes, I am feeling, say, for example, betrayed. But parallelly, if I can say, I don't know whether this feeling is true or not, I can't trust this feeling, then we can regain our ground in faith. So may the divine will may manifest, because I don't know the divine will. I only know my little willings. That's what I know. And we later mother shares that how hard we drain energies in trying to make those little willings happen. How much of energy drainage it takes. So may thy will manifest. Since you are the all knowing, you are all love, so you would know the best. How would I know? So may thy will manifest, may thy love be expressed, love which has the power to hold people, love which has the power to bring harmony. May that express itself and not my will, because my will always complicate things. It complicates. And in anticipation, I adhere with joy and serenity to those circumstances which will express this law and this will. So, like a very joyous soldier, you may have seen movies where they say very loyal servants and loyal soldiers. They are very happy to give away their life for the master, like that, very joyously waiting for whatever to manifest, in anticipation that whatever mother will do will be for the best. And I have that joy inside of me that yes, I know thy will express and manifest itself, and whether it is against and in opposition with my little willing or little opinion, even that I take joyfully. So in Kabir's couplets, there comes this couplet I'm reminded of. He says that Sura sohi saraye lada dhani ke het purja purja chau pade tau na chade khet. So he's in Hindi, it says that a true warrior is a warrior who should be praised, What kind of a warrior is he? Who only fights for the divine, for the master. And even when his parts and pieces are just getting scattered everywhere in the battlefield, my opinions, my ideas, my ego, what I thought was right, that's all getting scattered, pieces, bits and pieces in the battlefield. And what is he doing? He is very happy fighting for the divine still. He is not leaving the battleground just because I am insulted, or I was proven wrong. Very happy to be proven wrong, because I'm now taking the side of divine. I'm not taking the side of my little self. So that brings a lot of joy, to fight for the divine, to take the side of the divine and not the side of our ego consciousness, which may still be there, as long as we have body, the ego consciousness still be there. But what matters is the right attitude, that the moment it arises, I become conscious of it, know it as not myself, not my true self, and step aside. What is to be ashamed of? When it is not myself, what is to be ashamed of? So, putting all the shame and guilt and insults aside, very happy to get humiliated for the right cause, and still taking the side of the divine will and divine law to manifest. So, in anticipation, I adhere, I cling with joy and serenity to those circumstances. I will take the side of those circumstances which I see clearly are manifesting your law and your will. It is very clear to us. We can't be deluded, since we also have the light of consciousness 24/7 with us. We very well know in what situation the divine will is manifesting itself, and its causes, and why it is happening this way. We all know. If we are sincere, we will know, and then we will take its side. Good that it happened. And I think today, just a very small incident, I think something was happening today or yesterday, and I was scolding one of my children, and uh, the moment I was scolding him, just raising my voice at him, immediately a glass of water fell on my laptop. It was a closed laptop, and immediately I thanked and laughed at myself, and told even my kid also that, see, mother has told me not to do this. So if we can again and again, as mother says, not to take ourselves seriously, and know that we are following a bad trail, and it doesn't need to, we don't have to follow it throughout this life. We can stop when we realize that it's a bad trail, not to follow it. So yes, going further. Oh, why be restless and want that for oneself things should turn out in one way or not another? So when one has this serenity and inner concrete presence with the mother, communion with the mother, that nothing matters but the mother, and I have the mother, so everything else is immaterial, then there is no point of getting restless. And even if the restlessness arises, we can become conscious of it and drop it. It's coming from past happenings. There are attached uh, patterns that we have to let go of in this life. So even if an unconscious restlessness arises, agitation arises, and immediately I become conscious of it, at that, look, it has arisen again, I have the possibility in that consciousness to step back from it. So why be restless? Want that thing, one for oneself, things should turn out in one way and not another, since I don't know what is beneficial. Why decide that a particular set of circumstances will be the expression of best possibilities? And I think this is also referring to bringing ourselves in the present moment every time. So, for example, maybe I changed a house and the new house doesn't suit me. Again and again, the mind goes to the old house. It says, oh, things were so better there, I was so happy there, all that. But when things have happened, why not bring the mind completely here? And knowing that, okay, there are things which are not in my, uh, I can't control them, I can't fix them. So the best I can do is to know this as divine will, whatever has happened, and to learn to adapt, to learn to change myself according to the situations. So why decide that a particular set of circumstances will be the expression of the best possibilities and then launch into a bitter struggle so that these possibilities may be realized? Such a drainage of energy, such stubbornness, that what I wanted, why did that not happen? I'm happy to take even my life. Many a times, we can go into such depression that what I wanted did not happen. And because I'm not going to let go of this stubbornness, I'm even happy to end this life, but I will not change myself. That is the extent to which ego can take us. For example, I expected something from a marriage, did not happen. I expected companionship, spiritual companionship, emotional, mental companionship. The guy is lost in his own world, did not happen. So what, will I beat myself to death? Or would I say, maybe the mother wants me to come back home towards my own self and not keep on focusing on outer people and situations for satisfaction? Maybe that is the key. So why to launch ourselves into this bitter struggle? It's very bitter. Those of us who have been through this struggle, when we become so ziddi, so stubborn, that if my way, otherwise no way, else I'm going into depression very happily. Why did it not happen my way? Why did the person not act how I expected? And he promised me when the 7 rounds around the fire was happening, in Indian marriages, Hindu marriages, then he promised me that he will take care of me. Now, where is that promise? So, will you kill yourself for that promise? What will you do? No, or you understand that the best for me is to turn within. No one can complete me. Poor guy may be dealing with his own traumas he has gone through in his life. So, again, referring to this bitter struggle, so that these possibilities, whatever images I have in my mind, they may be realized. So much drainage of energy, waste of potential. And then mother says, okay, do this. This is where we must channelize energies. Why not use all one's energy? All. Look at this, all one's energy solely to will in the calm of inner confidence that thy law may triumph everywhere and always over all difficulties, all darkness, all egoism. So this is the best place, highest possibility. Mother talks of every prayer. Choose the highest possibility. Okay, a disease has happened. What is my highest possibility? To make it a ladder to turn within and find the divine. Okay, a broken relationship. Highest possibility. Again, make it a ladder, turn within, unite with the divine presence. Because if everything goes hunky-dory outside, I don't turn within. That's why suffering is a blessing. So good, it's very good if I am getting disenchanted. And if people are not acting according to my hopes, again, time for me to turn within and stabilize and unite myself with the inner presence. So why not use all one's energy solely to will in the calm of inner confidence that thy law may triumph everywhere and always over all difficulties, all darkness, all egoism. So this is a golden key mother gives us, as in every prayer. So if you have to put energies, don't put into arguing with other people who is right, who is wrong. Stabilize yourself in this realization, inner realization, and will that may the divine law may triumph. That's what we can pray for. And even if we see egoism outside of our, for example, workplace, we are seeing egoism in operation. Again, praying that may divine law triumph and may all darkness, all egoism disappear. And when we take this attitude, how the horizon widens. As soon as one learns to take this attitude, how all anxiety vanishes, giving place to a constant illumination, to the omnipotence of disinterestedness. So now there is no external interest in outward happenings. Why? Because all my interests are fulfilled inside of me. How beautiful. So whatever outer may happen, it may happen, good. It doesn't happen, good. The divine may have a plan. My interests are taken care of within my being. That is the state each one of us has to rise to. Each one, not even one person can be spared, because then that will create chaos. Each one of us has to unite with the divine presence within. We don't have much time. As a human, life is limited. We don't have much time. So rest, everything becomes secondary. Whatever I am doing in the kitchen, in the, in the homely stuff, in the workplace, all that matters is this inner concrete reality that I have to make for myself. Why not use all one's energy solely to will in the calm of inner confidence that thy law may triumph everywhere and always over all difficulties, all darkness, all egoism? And how the horizon widens as soon as one learns to take this attitude. How beautiful. And it's only a shift of a second. We may be in the middle of anger, in the middle of anxiety, restlessness, agitation. And immediately, if a friend reminds me, if I read a word in the book, or I myself get reminded of, no, I don't have to give that importance. No, mother, I have to come back to the mother. Immediately, everything vanishes like a dark cloud, disappears into the thin, of the sky. All that remains is the sky. And whenever I focus on these difficulties, all the failures, successes, the outward happenings, then I make that cloud even thicker. So then I say, oh my God, I can't feel the mother. I can't feel mother's presence. Where is mother? I can't see her. Why? Because I keep on fueling with my energy these mental constructions that this is why it happened, that is why that person said this to me. So the thought gets used in wrong direction. And by fueling these thoughts, we make that cloud of ignorance even thicker and thicker, like monsoon clouds in Delhi. And then we can't see the blue sky. And then we become even agitated that why can't I sense the mother at all? All that I see is a dark cloud. But who fueled the dark cloud? I myself. Who was so sure of all these opinions and storylines? I myself. So who fueled it? Who is responsible? So then when I take this responsibility, that either I can fuel mother's living presence in me, or I can fuel my storylines. Which one do I choose in this moment? Immediately the storyline vanishes. Immediately, with immediate effect. We don't need, it's not a process, this one. Binary, 0 or 1. Either I'm fueling the mother's presence, or I'm fueling the thought and storylines in my head. And that is how my state would be. So how the horizon widens as soon as one learns to take this attitude. How all anxiety vanishes, like the cloud vanishes and disappears in the sky. How all anxiety vanishes, giving place to a constant illumination, to the omnipotence of disinterestedness. So no interest whatsoever in the outward happenings. It's not that I will not be doing my job or responsibility or good work that I do, but whatever happens in good work also, that is secondary. First is my relationship with the mother. To will what thou willest, O Lord, is to live constantly in communion with thee. So how to will what the divine wills? This is what again mother is sharing the key. To will with what thou willest, O Lord, how to do that? Is to live constantly in communion with thee. Do we do that? We can ask ourselves. We are mostly in communion with our storylines. We are mostly in communion with our feelings and thoughts, the surface consciousness, the desires, the expectations. That's where we are communing. So if we want the divine will to happen in our life and beyond, then We will have to be in communion only with the mother. That's also very simple. We just have to shift our priority. So is to live constantly and with greater degrees, out of 100 moments, first it was 10 moments where I would remember the mother. Now it fit 50 moments. And then slowly it increases. And mother takes over all my life. Now nothing matters but the mother. Mother does the yoga. Mother changes my situations, whatever they have to happen. So, O Lord, is to live constantly in communion with Thee, to be delivered from all contingencies, what may happen, what may not happen, all these contingencies, to escape all narrowness. How to escape all narrowness? Be in constant communion with the divine. Mother shares with us. To fill one's lungs with pure and wholesome air while getting up, mama, 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 filling our whole consciousness with mother's name. While sleeping, again, sleeping in that way, filling up whole being with mother's name. Rising up, go, offering the day to the mother. Mother, you know the best, guide me. I slip, so you guide me. Throughout the day, whatever breaks we get, we may get lost in between, but whatever silent times we get, invoking the mother. So either we are invoking our clouds of our storylines, whatever I think is right, whatever happened in my life, whatever that person said that to me, this opportunity, that thing, that position, that respect. So either I am fueling this or I am invoking mother's name. Both can't happen at one moment, 1 millisecond of a moment if we consider microscopic. In one moment, I am with the mother or with the thoughts and storylines, which are falsehood, since I don't know the larger picture. So, what do I choose? So, to fill one's lungs with this pure, wholesome air, and mother says that be very sensitive to this unease. Whenever we give our mental constructions and storylines more power, we are filled with unease. Mother says be very sensitive to that, and very soon lose no time in coming back to ease. To get rid of all useless weariness. Why useless weariness? Because whatever I have thought, the way this should happen and that should happen, do I know the full picture? Of course not. So why am I just deciding whatever has to happen on this window? Why to stick so tightly to it? Why not stick tightly to the mother? And then parallelly make all the decisions that we are making, but keeping it very flexible, very, very flexible, that mother knows the best. So although I liked this particular thing, but even if it goes away from my hand, good. Maybe mother did not want it for me, or maybe there was something else which I was to be conscious of. So no weariness, no drainage of energy. Yeah, and see how full of energy we become when so much of energy that we drain in our thoughts and storylines get reduced. We are full of energy. We have so much time to do good work and spend our time at places which are meaningful. So to get rid of all useless weariness, to be relieved of all cumbrous loads, the loads that we carry in our head. We can't parallelly reach the divine with the load. जब मैं था तब हरि नहीं, अब हरि है तो मैं नहीं. Kabir ji says, when मैं is there, when me and my storylines are there, then Lord is not. One moment I can give attention only to one thing. No? And now Lord is there, I am not. So the cloud is not there. Constant illumination is there. What do I need to be afraid of when only mother is there? So, to get rid of all useless weariness, be relieved of all cumbrous loads, so as why to get relieved of loads? Because there is a purpose to our life. There is a mission that each one of us has to fulfill. So as to run briskly, as Taru was pointing, it's not even walking. Once we know the straightforward path, take it. Now don't get swayed. There is again a song by Kabir where he says that now your true path lies in front of you. Even now you would get swayed, oh, transactioner. He uses the word saudagar, one who does transactions. So he asks us that now, when you know what is to be done, the purpose of your life is in front of you, the path is very straight, mother. Hold on, cling on to the mother. Even now you will get swayed, oh Saudagar, he says. Now don't do that. Now don't get swayed. Earlier in ignorance, you were there, you didn't even know what is the purpose of life. It's okay, you get swayed. But now you know. Now don't get swayed. So he says, Saudagar, ab mat bhulyo jai re. Now don't forget the purpose of your life, so as to run briskly towards the only goal worth attaining. So, no position, no workplace, no property, no name, no fame is worth attaining, but the only goal worth attaining is the triumph of thy divine law. To work as a slave, even as a, slaves don't get recognized. So, not even craving for name, fame, knowing that the only work for me is to make the divine law work. And that cannot work if I myself don't stabilize myself in true communion with Him. So, making that happen, the triumph of divine law, that's only that matters, nothing else. No goal is worth attaining. So, as Taru was pointing at the word disenchantment, nothing on the world is worth attaining. O Lord, with what joy and trust I greet Thee this morning. So, this is the joy of taking the side of the divine, not taking the side of ego. With the ego, we are always miserable. Something or the other will be lacking with the ego. But if we take only the side of the truth, then we don't even have to defend ourselves. Very happily, we are okay to get insulted, humiliated. Doesn't matter. What matters is the mother's will. So how does it matter if somebody said this to me or that to me? Mother's will work out. That's what matters. And that brings us joy, because now we are loyal slave, loyal servants. O Lord, with what joy and trust I greet Thee this morning. So now I have lost trust in my thoughts. I have lost trust in my feelings. They are very unsure. I don't buy into those clouds anymore. The only thing that matters is the trust in the divine. So we can't place trust in two places at one time. One, either in one moment I can trust my thought that's going on in the head, or I can trust the mother. Both can't be trust. Again, binary function. And then it brings joy and felicity in our heart. O Lord, with what joy and trust I greet Thee this morning. So a beautiful way to begin our morning or maybe end our nights. Yeah, anything anyone wants to share? All right. So assuming there is nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah, Taru.
just one
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
Several times while you were sharing, I mean, a lot of things did come, but most importantly, if I just close my eyes, and I request you to close your eyes, nothing big and yet, so, and imagine that, on the right side, my whole world is standing, this illusionary world that of big buildings and people and houses and banks, like full cluttered on the right, the whole world is there. And on the left side, mother is standing. So if I'm, standing on this line which divides and I have to walk or run somewhere, where will I walk? Look at the people, we can look at the, in the sense, and it's, I mean, it's just, I think, how we are choosing every moment, right? Like, who are we giving importance to? What am I putting my energy in? Like every moment I have the choice to run towards her, or either to be standing in the middle, or to, kind of run, or just be engulfed in that, I don't know, this whole, how it says the self created, it doesn't look created, it looks real world. So probably if I keep doing this, it's like, how that paripakvata comes, okay, how it's such a simple decision. It's just a simple bowing down of the head, and yet in my cleverness, I feel कि okay नहीं, वहां से कुछ तो अभी भी मिला है जो नहीं मिलेगा. So that, that thought needs to be again and again and again be looked at, most likely smiled upon and dropped, right? So that one can just always, without the slightest doubt, start running, right, towards the right thing, energy. And while you were again sharing, how that term comes, no, Sacha Soda, that how when you were sharing about the satisfied heart, if we make a good transaction, or if we get, say, good grades, if a child get good grades, or if the child even eats a good meal, something so small, the quality of satisfaction, that thing that we feel inside, okay, ye theek hua, like that, it's deep, right? Like it touches something, yet it's so trivial, it means nothing, but even that small petty thing really touches you deeply. Okay, this breath I can take with this, because this was, a good day, or this was a good hour, or this was a good transaction. And that transaction is worth nothing, like worth nothing, because the transaction that I keep forgetting, that if I can just remember that transaction that I've already had, the biggest, if only I could, how they say things are relative, right? So I have to, yeah, constantly remind myself of the transaction, the contract, the hand I'm already holding tight. And then does this matter? Then does this matter? Really, does this matter? Because again, like you said, because we come from darkness. It's weird, it's sad, it's strange, it's funny that we still need to tell ourselves that, oh, foolish person, or, beefcoof is the word that's coming to me. Okay, don't you see? Don't you see? Or if you don't see, it's okay. Now see. Now see. No, now know what you have in your hand and what are you looking towards, right? Yeah, that's it. Thank you. I got carried away.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Anything else? Anyone? Before we end. There is another song by Kabir, which I'm sorry, I keep on remembering all the songs again and again. He says, "ई ना जाने कछु नी जाने, नी जाने गुरमाला, जब लग पहरी, जब लग तोड़ी, छोड़िया फेंक दी झाड़ा में." So he says, he compares each one of us to a monkey. And he says, how would a monkey know whether he is holding a stone or a diamond? That's our condition. That we have the diamond with us, but we keep on holding the diamond. At times it is precious for us, and then at times something more glittery appears, so we throw away the diamond in the jhadi, in the bushes, since we don't even know what value it has. So I think that also hits on the face, that how we use even mother's name. At times it's very important for us. It saves us from the turmoil, and at times we just throw it away in the bush. What matters now in the glitter in the front. Yeah. Anyway, we will be better by each day. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining in, listening, and being there. Thank you.
Beautiful
Thank
session.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.